In times of uncertainty, like, I don't know, civil unrest or natural disasters or economic uncertainty, right? Relying on a single source for your food is pretty much a surefire way to put your household at risk. Today, we're going to talk about all of that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness, and we're going to take all the sexiness out of that. Is pantry preparedness sexy? Let me know in the comment section down below. I think it is, but I may be biased, okay? So, when you talk about diversifying your pantry, you're talking about not putting all of your eggs in one basket, okay? Not getting all of your, let's go with mushrooms, not getting all of your mushrooms from one place, right? Having the ability to diversify how you're going to receive your pantry goods. Because if you have bad weather one day, so maybe not mushrooms is the perfect example, but say there's really bad weather and so there's crop failure all around you and you cannot get the certain vegetable that you really enjoy having, right? Because it's like tomatoes. Okay, how many people here had a crappy year for tomatoes? So yeah, I get it. And when you have a really bad year for tomatoes, you need to go, well, where else can I get these? There are tons of different ways that you can do this. There are different ways that you can look at it. We're going to hit that. But first, we're going to talk about why diversification is crucial, right? One, because you want to mitigate supply chain disruptions. We have all become rather proficient at supply chain disruptions in the last 4 years, haven't we? One supplier faces issues such as transportation delays or stock shortages or regional problems like, I don't know, strikes or civil unrest. You can still rely on other suppliers to maintain a steady food supply. Because remember, there's never more than 3 days worth of stock in the grocery stores. And that's like just for stock. That's not to supply the entire area for 3 days, okay? Number two is to increase the food variety. A lot of people are like, well, if you're really hungry, you'll eat it. No, surprisingly, you won't. And if you have ever really experienced any kind of food fatigue, then you would know that, okay? But I digress. So, sourcing food from multiple outlets, including local farms, markets, such stores, having it shipped to you, whatever the case may be. It allows you to access a broader range of food items, improving nutrition and variety as long as it's not like super high processed, right? It supports your local economy. There is nothing that gives me the warm fuzzies than promoting the fact that my neighbor down the road is selling lean, grass-fed ground beef for $5 a pound. She raised it. She knew that cow. I may have met that cow, okay? That the people down the road from her are selling their beets or their carrots or their greens to people locally through their CSA or at the farmer's market. Or that my neighbor had too many potatoes and so said, hey, you want some potatoes that I grew? Well, yeah, because I'm not silly, right? So supporting local economy, it really is purchasing from local farmers, regional food producers. It helps sustain the local economy big time, which can be critical during times of economic downturn or instability. Keep your neighbors working. It's much more important than keeping the people in the other country working. Know what I mean, jelly bean? Yes. Reducing our dependency on major retailers, because none of us like them. None of us. I wager a bet that even most of us who receive paychecks from them do not like them, okay? Major retailers, large retailers, okay, can face greater disruptions due to national level supply chain issues. They've got it so rough while they're getting everybody to sell it to them for the rock bottom price, right? Sourcing food from various smaller, more localized sources offers a layer of protection against shortages. It really, really does. Support the mom and pop, if you can, if they exist. I'm trying to think if I have any mom and pops around here. Not so much anymore. I think they all went out of business when Walmart came in. You want to enhance your food security, that's going to happen. That's why diversification is so crucial, right? It enhances your food security. Diversifying ensures that if one food supply route is unavailable, you can turn to the others to keep receiving what you need, okay? So that the shortages aren't impacting you at home. That's important. Being able to pivot, but you got to know where to pivot to if you're going to pivot, right? It adds a buffer against panic buying, because I hate those people, okay? If you're out there panic buying, you are the problem. Seriously. Think about, okay, first of all, I knew that they weren't going to stay on strike, okay? But you've got all these people panicking when the dock workers went on strike and went out and bought stupid stuff. Stupid stuff, okay? Got no patience for that nonsense. So it adds a buffer against panic buying or regional supply issues. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. Do not panic. Become prepared. Now we're going to shoot for number 2. Yeah. 2 types of food sources to diversify. Large grocery stores. These are convenient and well stocked, but can suffer delays due to widespread issues in the supply chain. Absolutely. Treat these as just one of several sources, not your only option. I understand they could be your main source, you know, I get that. Living where I live, I get that. But they shouldn't be your only source. So they may be the first level, but they shouldn't be the second, third, and fourth. Local farmers markets, I'm a huge advocate of support your local farmers market. Absolutely do it, okay? So many communities have them nowadays. Farmers markets are excellent for sourcing fresh produce, eggs, meat, and even preserved goods, depending on where you live, right? Because they rely on regional production. Oh yeah, and baked goods. Holy Hannah. They're less likely to experience the same disruptions as national supply chains. What? Yeah, and you also won't be buying the same kind of manufactured food there. Yeah. Community supported agriculture. It's a CSA. It's so cool. If you don't know what a CSA is, definitely time to look into them. Definitely time to look into your area to see who is possibly providing them, because a lot of people do. A CSA, you sign up for it. So you have a commitment with the farmer, okay? And this is how one near me works. So I sign a contract with them, and I have a commitment that I'm going to give them $200 at the beginning of the season. Now, in exchange for that $200, they're going to buy seed. They are going to go out there and they are going to grow all of the fruits and vegetables that they grow. And you'll know about those, okay? And in exchange for that investment into their farm, you will reap part of the produce. So every week, once it starts coming in, you will go and you will get a box or a bag or whatever, how they do it, of that produce as your return on investment. Best ROI out there. Farm to table co-ops. They're out there. They're not as easy to find as CSAs, I believe, but food co-ops work by connecting communities directly with local farmers. Some co-ops also allow members to place bulk orders on grains, vegetable, dairy, and meat, often at discounted prices. That's really cool if you can find them. I know at the farmers market, I've got one vendor that allows me to purchase in bulk. The rest of them are not interested really, and I'm really not interested in one-offs. If I got a bug, you know, and decide that I want to have, I don't know, radishes for dinner, then I'll get one thing of radishes. I'm not going to buy bulk in radishes, you know, but if I want corn, or if I want sweet potatoes, or if I want green beans or shrooms, then I will buy cases of those. I literally buy 5 cases of mushrooms, process them once every year or two, and I have mushrooms. It's a great thing instead of buying an 8-ounce container. But not all vendors at farmers markets like to operate that way. Okay, so you have to find it. A food co-op is a great way to potentially do that. Different food sources to help you diversify, right, are online bulk retailers. These help a lot. So look at palousbrand.com. That's where I get grains and legumes. Azure Standard, if you are amiable to their drop practices, because I know they're a little bit of a pain in the hoozy. I looked at the clock because I have to be there in 2 hours. Okay. You know, there are different stores online that you can buy in bulk, and that's very helpful. Number one, it comes to your door. I mean, I love it when somebody else does the heavy lifting for me, okay? But number two, you have a wider variety of what may be available than what may be available in your area. I can't buy bulk grains in my area, but I can have them delivered. Number three is specialty stores. If you're in a big city, more urban area than where I'm at, you may have those specialty stores around. I don't, but online they have tons of specialty stores. So consider diversifying by shopping at smaller specialized food stores like your Asian markets or your Latino markets, that kind of thing. Because you can find a lot of stuff there, organic markets, that you can't find anyplace else. And normally for a pretty decent price. One of the best ways, one of my favorite ways is home gardening. I love my garden. I am so glad that garden is put to bed. Okay, but I love my garden. I love producing our own food. I love preserving our own food. It is such a sense of accomplishment. I rock. Yes, I do. Okay, so having a home garden, whether it is like Sven in Norway, who has a windowsill on the 4th floor apartment with tomatoes and peppers and whatnot in it, or whether it's somebody who's got acres and is laying down tons of seed. Any way that you can garden is a good way to do it. Another way is bartering and trading with your neighbors, okay? I cannot find the value in growing cucumbers because I'm the only one that eats them. So I don't want to grow them, but I will trade my neighbor something that I grow for some of her cucumbers that she grows, because that way we both win, So bartering and trading with your neighbors, it's fantastic, just fantastic. Number three, foods to stock from different sources. Yes, you want to look at foods to stock from different sources. Non-perishables from grocery stores and online bulk retailers. Stock up on grains, pasta, canned goods, long-lasting staples, okay, like peanut butter, oils, and flours. These are essential for long-term storage and can be bought in large quantities all at once. Sam's Club has a membership that delivers stuff to your door. Yes, they do. Number two is fresh produce from the farmers market or the CSAs. Okay, that's a different source. Local farmers can supply seasonal fruits and vegetables, which often have a longer shelf life due to minimal transportation. Guess what? It has no carbon footprint practically. So I love a vegetable or a fruit that didn't travel halfway around the world to get to me. It makes me happy. I don't have to worry as much about cow farts, okay? Meat, dairy, and eggs from local farms or co-ops. I cannot begin to tell you how important it is that we start removing our reliance on these commercial farms. These commercial farms are not only detrimental to the animals, they are detrimental to the planet, they are detrimental to us. There is more invested in this. I literally just came off a class about this, okay? There's so much that I believe in the meat fairy. No, don't believe in the meat fairy, okay? Really, you can't. You cannot do it. There's no excuse for these huge, horrible places where animals are in the worst possible conditions and their waste is creating horrible conditions for us because it is so central. It is so just congested. It's so bad, you guys. That goes for meat, dairy, or eggs. Chickens, beef, pigs, whatever. There's better ways to do it than the way they're doing it. There really are. But it does take some of you to be responsible for yourself. It does. I can't raise pigs where I live. No, but I bet you there's a small farmer not far from you that could. I really do. Specialty items from ethnic stores or health stores. Okay, that's another way. Homegrown produce, again, is a different source. It's a different way to stock foods from a different source. Now we've got some practical tips, because it's all nice to talk about, but without a practical tip, right, for diversifying your food source, you're going to go, yeah, peace out, Lisa, bye. So, number one, create a supplier list. Big, okay? Talk to your friends. If you have friends that are interested in food at all, talk to your friends. My friends are amazing people who know amazing things, and they surprise me all the time. So create a supplier list. Start by identifying local farms, CSA programs, and online retailers. Keep a running list of these suppliers, including contact information and what kind of food each one provides. You create your own little phone book of food information. It's awesome. Number two is to rotate your shopping habits, okay? Don't rely on one store or source for all your needs. Rotate shopping between major grocery stores if that's what you do, farmers markets, and online retailers to ensure you're familiar with a variety of supply routes, because saying that, I'm going to keep going to Walmart all the time, but I know these ones are here. If I'm not familiar with them, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about their prices. I know nothing about their packaging. I know nothing about whether or not the guy's a butthead. Okay. So you do want to spend time shopping at all of them in order to become as familiar with them as you can. You want to buy in bulk when possible, when it fits, when it's applicable. Okay. I would rather buy wheat one time every 2 or 3 years than I would, every single month. So for non-perishables, buying in bulk reduces the frequency of shopping trips big time and ensures you have a backup supply at home. So as you get to the point where you're building up your pantry and you've got that base 1 month there, right? Then you can start actually buying in quantity the stuff that you're going to go through. So focus on items like grains, beans, and canned goods that store well. That's the easiest way to do it. Number 2 is to build a relationship with local farmers. You don't got to love them. You just got to know that they're doing it right. That's the important thing, okay? Establishing a relationship with farmers or co-ops can ensure more reliable supply of fresh produce and animal products. Especially during shortages, you want to know who you know, because knowing who you know is important. You want to learn basic food preservation, my friends. Hi, my name's Lisa. We teach canning. I have playlists, and I promise I'm getting back to canning in January, okay? Which is also known as Canuary. Yes, you'll be hearing about that soon. So, learn basic food preservation. Check out Darcy at the Purposeful Pantry for dehydrating. Stay here for all things canning, where I promise not to try to kill you, okay? It's a great thing to do. Canning, dehydrating, and freezing can ensure seasonal produce and meat are available during off-season and disruptions. Number 5 is the benefit of supporting local food producers. Increased reliability. Seriously, increased reliability. Locally grown food doesn't have to travel so far. Okay, so it's much more reliable. Better nutrition, again, because it doesn't have to travel so far. Sustainable, again, because it doesn't have to travel so far. And because you're supporting your neighbors. That's important. Making sure that they're working so that you're eating so that they're eating. It's the circle of life in a whole nother view, okay? It's good. Strengthening community, because community is what it's all about. You cannot do this alone. I don't care who you are. You can't do it by yourself. You have to rely on people. I don't have any people. You have to people to people. Get out there and meet some people. We have common pitfalls. We have common pitfalls. We have common pitfalls. Holy Hannah, right? To avoid. Common pitfalls to avoid are over-reliance on one source. You don't want to do that. Don't make the mistake of depending too heavily on one supplier, one place to go for something. Because if anything happens to them, whether it's your local farmer or the grocery store, then you have no other way to get it. And that doesn't work, okay? Neglecting preservation. Fresh foods are wonderful. I get it, okay? But without proper preservation, they can spoil quickly. Always have a plan for preserving excess produce or meat from local suppliers, because otherwise it's a whole bunch of waste of time and money. 40% of food produced in this country ends up in the landfill. It's shameful. It's criminal. It's horrible. Please don't panic buy. That's a big pitfall to avoid, okay? Do not panic buy. Avoid buying food in large quantities without a clear plan for storage or use. I bought 50 pounds of pecans because Lisa had a video about how the pecan farmers were impacted. Now what you gonna do, sugar? Yeah, don't do it, okay? Don't buy it unless you know how you're going to use it, unless you know how you're going to store it. Because storing it's important, using it's even more important. One of the pitfalls that I try to help you with, that I'm working on with this video in particular, right, is failing to plan for delivery disruptions. If you fail to plan for these disruptions, then when they happen, you're not prepared. You have to be prepared. Eventually, even if you diversify, delivery or supply chain disruptions can happen. They did. I wasn't the only one going through 2020, was I? Make sure you have a long-term storage option for non-perishables and homegrown foods to sustain you during difficult times. You cannot buy seeds without knowing how to garden, because I guarantee you're going to fail. I know how to garden a little bit, and I'm going to fail almost every year at something. It's a guarantee. The only thing guaranteed about gardening is that at some point you're going to fail. So don't just buy seeds thinking that you're going to make out like a bandit. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Diversifying your food sources, it's essential, okay, for maintaining food security. That's what I'm doing, food security, pantry preparedness. During times of uncertainty, by sourcing food from a variety of suppliers, grocery stores, local farmers, co-ops, okay, and even with your own garden, you'll be better prepared to handle any delivery disruptions or shortages. A well-rounded plan in place can protect you and your family and even your community from potential food insecurity. Food insecurity is no joke. Too many people deal with it every single day today, which is another reason why it's criminal that 40% of the food created in this country ends up in a landfill. If you want to check out more about how to build a prepared pantry, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe and stack it to the rafters, my friends.